The dusty road from Ouagadougou to Kaya lay shimmering under the harsh West African sun. It was on this road that destiny intertwined with madness on a fateful afternoon. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, revered and feared, was on his way to inspect a newly built dam, a symbol of hope for his people. His convoy of armored vehicles snaked through the dry Sahel like a menacing serpent, each turn of the wheel echoing the weight of his leadership. But then, she appeared. An old woman, her gray hair tangled in a nest of despair, staggered onto the road. Draped in rags and mumbling in a language only she seemed to understand, she raised her bony hands, halting the convoy with the force of an unspoken plea. The soldiers were quick to aim their rifles. "Move away, mad woman," one barked, but she stood still, her eyes wild and haunted. Traoré, seated in the lead vehicle, was struck by something in her gaze. He ordered the convoy to stop. The air turned heavy, as if the world itself was holding its breath. "Who is she?" Traoré whispered, more to himself than anyone else. The old woman began to wail. Her cries rose above the engine's growl, piercing the silence like a prophecy. "Do not go! Do not go!" she screamed, her voice both childlike and ancient. A shiver crawled down Traoré's spine. He stepped out of the vehicle, his boots sinking into the hot dust. The soldiers shifted uneasily, watching their leader approach the woman. She grabbed his arm, her grip surprisingly strong. "They wait for you beyond the river," she rasped, tears glistening in her sunken eyes. "Your brothers, with knives in their smiles. The earth drinks blood today, but not yours. Not if you listen." The words chilled him to the bone. He was no stranger to betrayal. Whispers of disloyalty within his ranks had grown louder these past weeks. But this? An old mad woman prophesying an ambush? And then she looked at him with a strange, knowing smile. "You don't remember me," she said softly. "But I remember you. I remember the boy who gave me water on a thirsty day. And I remember the angel who swore to protect you." Before Traoré could ask her meaning, a rush of wind seemed to swirl around them. Dust and light danced in the air, and he saw it, just for a heartbeat, a radiant figure standing behind the woman, cloaked in shimmering gold. His breath caught. The old woman's madness wasn't madness at all. She stepped aside, eyes glistening. "Go back," she whispered. "The angel has come to save you. Do not waste her gift." Suddenly, gunfire erupted ahead. The convoy braced for attack, a hail of bullets meant for Traoré. But miraculously, every bullet missed, striking only metal and sand. His men scrambled for cover, hearts pounding. In that chaos, Traoré turned to look for the woman. But she was gone, vanished as if swallowed by the desert itself. He knew then that the angel she spoke of was real, and that he had been given another chance. A chance to uncover the traitors within and save not just himself, but the dreams of his people. As the dust settled, Traoré's mind was a storm of questions. Who was the old woman? What was the angel she spoke of? And what secrets did the road beyond the river still hold? He clenched his jaw, determination burning in his chest. "Forward," he ordered his men, voice calm and resolute, but this time with our eyes wide open. And as the convoy rolled forward, the memory of the old woman lingered, a promise, a warning, and a mystery that would only grow deeper in the next chapter. The convoy pressed forward, engines purring like caged beasts, but the tension in the air was thicker than the dust clouds that trailed them. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's mind was a whirlwind. The old woman's cryptic words echoed in his ears, refusing to be silenced. "Beyond the river, your brothers, with knives in their smiles." As they reached the riverbank, Traoré ordered his men to halt. The river, usually a lifeline in the harsh Sahel, glistened deceptively, mirroring the sun in a blinding dance. Traoré stepped out, boots crunching on the cracked earth. He scanned the horizon, senses sharp as a predator's. "Lieutenant Jibbo," he called. Jibbo, his most trusted officer, jogged over, his brow furrowed. "Sir, we're changing the route," Traoré said. "No one moves without my word." Jibbo hesitated. "But sir, the bridge." "It's a trap," Traoré interrupted. His voice was low, resolute. "I can feel it." The soldiers exchanged uneasy glances. They trusted their captain, but doubt and fear flickered in their eyes. Traoré ignored them. He had seen the angel. He knew the truth lay not in the path ahead, but in the shadows beside him. Suddenly, a rustle in the tall grass caught his attention. Traoré's hand went to his pistol. In that instant, a figure emerged, a young woman, her skin dark as the night sky, her eyes bright with fierce light. She was dressed in flowing white, a color so pure it seemed to glow against the earth. She moved with the grace of a spirit, her bare feet silent on the ground. Traoré's breath caught. Was this the angel the old woman spoke of? She raised a hand, palm out. "Do not fear," she said in a voice that was both gentle and commanding. "I am here for you, Ibrahim Traoré." He lowered his weapon, his pulse hammering in his ears. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "I am the one who guards the bloodline of justice," she replied, stepping closer. "Your comrades have grown restless. They fear your strength, your dreams for the people. They plot to spill your blood to keep their power." Traoré swallowed hard, his throat dry. "And you? Why do you care?" She reached out, her fingers brushing his arm like a whisper. "Because you carry the hopes of the land," she said, her eyes shimmering with emotion. "And because my heart remembers you, even if yours has forgotten me." A memory flickered in Traoré's mind, faint, like a candle in the dark. A girl he had once saved from the fires of war, her laughter like music in a world of sorrow. "Who sent you?" he demanded, though he already sensed the truth. The woman smiled, a sorrowful smile that cut deeper than any blade. "The spirits of your ancestors," she said, "and the promise you made as a boy, to never let the innocent suffer again." At that moment, the silence was shattered by a distant cry, a shot fired, followed by another. The soldiers snapped to attention, weapons raised. The riverbank had become a battlefield. Traoré turned to his men. "Hold your ground," he commanded. The angel, if that's who she truly was, stepped back, her form already beginning to fade like mist in the morning sun. "Remember, Captain," she said, her voice echoing in his mind. "Beyond the river lies betrayal, but within you lies the strength to endure." And with that, she was gone, leaving only the warmth of her touch and the cold weight of destiny in his chest. Traoré drew his pistol, his eyes hard. "Jibbo," he barked, "double the perimeter. We're not moving until we root out the traitors." Jibbo nodded, determination in his eyes. "Yes, sir." As his men fanned out, Traoré stood alone by the river, the sun setting behind him in a blaze of red and gold. The old woman's warning, the angel's touch, each was a piece of a puzzle he had yet to solve. But one thing was clear. This was no longer just a mission. It was a battle for his soul, for the soul of a nation. The river whispered secrets in the gathering twilight, and Traoré knew the next chapter of his journey would reveal truths that could break him, or forge him into something stronger than even his enemies imagined. As night fell over the Sahel, the stars blinked to life like ancient eyes watching the drama below. The river's song became a soft murmur, and the convoy's campfires crackled in the cool darkness. Captain Ibrahim Traoré sat apart from his men, his gaze fixed on the flames. The angel's words haunted him. Her eyes had spoken of loyalty and love, of secrets buried deeper than any grave. Jibbo approached, his footsteps careful. "Captain," he said, his voice low, "we've searched the area. No sign of the attackers. But the men, they're nervous." Traoré nodded, his jaw tight. "They should be," he said. "We're surrounded by shadows, even if we can't see them." He turned to Jibbo, eyes hard as flint. "Tell me, Jibbo, do you believe in angels?" Jibbo hesitated, his expression a mask. "I believe in loyalty," he said at last. "And I believe in you, Captain." Traoré studied him for a long moment. The old woman had said, "Your brothers with knives in their smiles." Was Jibbo one of them? The thought cut deep. Jibbo had been at his side since the earliest days of the struggle. Yet the whispers of betrayal grew louder in his mind. Before he could speak, A voice called out from the darkness. "Captain, a messenger approaches." Traoré stood, his hand on his pistol. A figure emerged from the shadows, an old man, stooped with age but proud in his bearing. He wore a tattered robe and carried a staff carved with strange symbols. "Who are you?" Traoré demanded. The old man bowed his head. "I am a griot," he said, his voice soft and musical. "A keeper of stories. And I come with a message from the old woman who stopped your convoy." Traoré's breath caught. "The mad woman? She still lives." The griot nodded. "She lives in the world of spirits now. But she left a message for you." He raised his staff, and the night seemed to hold its breath. She said, "When the moon is full and the river is still, you must choose between the crown and the heart. One path leads to glory, the other to peace. But both are yours, if you have the courage to see." Traoré felt the weight of those words settle on his shoulders. The moon hung full and silver above the river, its light turning the water to liquid glass. The choice she spoke of, what did it mean? The griot stepped closer, his eyes glinting like the stars. "There is one who waits for you beyond the river," he said. "A friend, or a foe. The choice will be yours, but the angel will guide your hand." With that, he turned and melted into the darkness, leaving Traoré with more questions than answers. He turned back to Jibbo, his voice low. "Ready the boats. We cross tonight." Jibbo's eyes flickered, but he nodded. "Yes, Captain." As the boat slipped into the silvered river, Traoré felt a surge of both dread and hope. The angel's presence still burned in his mind, a light in the darkness, a promise of redemption or ruin. When they reached the far bank, the night was silent but alive with possibility. Traoré stepped ashore, the cool mud slicked beneath his boots. Ahead lay the dense forest, black and unknowable. He took a deep breath and drew his pistol, his men close behind. Each footstep was a vow, each breath a prayer. In the shadows of the trees, a figure waited, a man with a smile as sharp as a blade. Traoré's heart pounded. The moment of truth had come. But before he could speak, the figure raised his hands, palms open in peace. "Captain," he said, his voice familiar and calm. "I've been waiting for you." Traoré's blood turned to ice. It was one of his oldest friends, a brother in arms, a man he had trusted with his life. "Why?" Traoré asked, his voice raw. "Why would you betray me?" The man smiled, a smile that held both sorrow and triumph. "Because power is the only truth," he said softly. "And tonight, that truth will be yours to claim, or lose forever." The forest seemed to close in around them, the air electric with fate. Traoré raised his weapon, his eyes blazing. "Then let the spirits decide." And with that, the night itself seemed to shudder, as destiny unfolded in the hush of the trees. The night was thick with tension as Captain Ibrahim Traoré faced his friend-turned-foe under the shadowy forest canopy. The river whispered behind them, the moonlight glimmering like a watchful eye in the heavens. His former comrade, Seydou, a man he had once trusted with his life, stood with his hands raised, yet his smile was a dagger in the darkness. "Power is the only truth," Seydou said again, his voice low and calm. "You know this, Ibrahim. The people need strength. They need me." But Traoré shook his head, his grip on his pistol steady. "No, Seydou. They need a heart that beats for them, not a fist that crushes them." Seydou's smile faltered, just for a moment. "Then we are at an impasse, brother." Traoré's heart pounded, but in that moment, he saw beyond the betrayal. He saw the pain in Seydou's eyes, the desperation of a man who had lost his way. The angel's touch echoed in his memory, her voice a balm to his soul. "Both paths are yours, if you have the courage to see." "I don't want to kill you," Traoré said quietly. "You were my brother once." Seydou's eyes narrowed. "And now?" Traoré lowered his pistol, his voice resolute. "Now I choose peace." Seydou blinked, confusion flickering across his face. Before he could speak, the forest around them seemed to come alive with light. The angel stepped from the shadows, her white robes shimmering like dawn itself. "Your choice has freed you, Ibrahim," she said, her voice a melody that wrapped around the trees and the river. "The crown of power is heavy, but the heart of compassion is stronger still." She turned to Seydu, her gaze gentle but firm. "There is still time to return, Seydu. Power born of fear dies quickly, but hope lives forever." For a moment, Seydu's face crumpled, tears in his eyes as the weight of his choices fell away. He sank to his knees, dropping his weapon. "Forgive me, Ibrahim," he whispered, his voice breaking. "I forgot who I was, who we were." Traoré stepped forward, lifting Seydu to his feet. "We are brothers still," he said, his voice full of quiet strength. "Let us rebuild together." The angel's light grew brighter, enveloping them both. The river's song swelled, as if the spirits of the land themselves were singing in joy. In that luminous moment, all the betrayals, all the blood and pain, were washed away. The first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, painting the world in gold and rose. The soldiers who had followed Traoré emerged from the forest, their weapons lowered, their faces alight with hope. Traoré looked out at them, his people, his responsibility, his heart. He saw the future shining in their eyes, a future of unity and peace. As the sun rose over the river, the angel gave him one last smile. "You have chosen well, Ibrahim," she said softly. "The road ahead will not be easy, but your heart will guide you true." Then she was gone, leaving only the warmth of the morning sun and the promise of better days. Traoré clasped Seydu's hand in his. "Come, brother," he said. "We have much to do." And together, they walked back to their people, ready to forge a new beginning. One built not on power, but on love, trust, and the unbreakable spirit of their land.